Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we started exploring, Miss Agina Lestrade's testimony of her, account under the seat. However, she's leaving out a very crucial detail, and that is she should have seen the victim. She never mentioned that. So we are obviously going to show a person to the court. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. The victim, a thrice-fired mason. Take that! Thrice-fired mason? Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear. Oh, epic point! Is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. That it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time? Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And, from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey, during which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh! We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did, or did not hear, is at odds with the facts. Ah! Maybe he was underneath the seats, who knows. Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Vadzix! Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. Heh heh heh. It would seem words for thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? What you on about, fool? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Then the jurors are colluding. He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. And this girl's a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. Oh, looks like she's gonna change her mind. Uh-oh. Oh! She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman, don't do it. I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious, I've never seen that word before, salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. Uh-oh. Now we're back to 5-1 again. Oh! Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. Ah! Gah! What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Amadon? This is carnage. It's perfect, dude. Stop licking the knife. Ugh. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going. I know. We can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilda's innocence. The judge will rule, and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. No! Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on the whole case. What are you saying? What are you on about? Counsel! I'm sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? What if they boarded together? That's what I'm thinking. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was put in there after he died. What? Where would he have been? Okay, if he was in there already, I think this top one definitely does not make sense, because she would have obviously said something. There's another entrance. Let me just go look in here. Is the other side possibly a door? No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Is the skylight maybe open? Oh, look at that. I can just barely see it, but there's like a little latch on the skylight. But why would he drop in through the skylight? I mean, so that's a possibility. He was put in there after he died. Well, how would that have worked? I'm trying to think about who saw what. I think there's got to be another entrance. I think that's got to be it. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there's no entrance to the cabin other than the door. You're wrong! Yes! Slam the fist down. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the courts. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? Your Honor, it's very simple. He teleported inside! It's so obvious. Yeah, he dropped in through the skylight. I don't know what that means yet. But we'll find out. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight!
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? There's a latch! Both Mr. McGilda and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but... Oh, so he was stabbed on top of the bus and then fell in through the skylight? That would be very interesting. Would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses describe? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry? In fact... Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter this cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection.
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible! How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but what if he fell from the roof of a building that they were passing by, straight through the skylight, as it was open? That would be quite amazing if that's happened, but I doubt it. Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Miss McGilded. To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof that testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. Every time he does this animation with his hand over his hat like that, I'm imagining him like pulling it off. You know, but he never does that. So the witnesses are yet again being told not to testify something incredibly important that is very suspicious. I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Humph! Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Oh! We got suspects! Oh, they're back. Oh, Beppo's not here, though. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said, you rotter! What are you insinuating? Oh man, what is this animation? Dude, what are you doing? You're like, are you pretending to ride a horse? What is going on? Seriously, what is this animation? This is a flaming outrage. I have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you are effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and a well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter, suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's, ugh! I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too. How about you, you rotten scoundrel? Oh, they joined these two. I see. Order! 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 This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, it's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Vadzix. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned my friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. I didn't say that. Accuse, I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what I termed a baseless accusation. I know I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. Oh my gosh. What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo? The members of the gallery are, chanting. The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. My lord. Oh, why do they seem so, suspicious now? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. So is it just gonna be between the two of them? We were the only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive, I could swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Alright, so there's not many statements. I think that was 5, right? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you are in collusion with one another. What? Eh? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings. Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. Trial's going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Yeah, 5 statements. Me are the only 2 people. What I'm suspicious of is hang on. Hang on, let me look at the court record again. I want to check this ledger. Yeah, we saw this. Whose names are in here? That's not going to tell me. Hang on, if I just back out, does it tell me? Among the defendant's list of debtors is Bruce Fairplay, who would have been due to repay his loan imminently. I almost want to present the omnibus. We couldn't possibly have opened it. I kind of want to just present the omnibus here because there's clearly like a latch on the top, right? Yeah, like look, there's. I wish I could like zoom in, but that latch is clearly on the outside, right? Can I examine this and then? Oh. Okay. I want to examine that. You can clearly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes. And there's a lamp in the enclosed cabinet. I think we read this before. I'm going to present this. I'm going to see how this goes.
Objection.
That was not correct. Okay. Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? What implications, counsel? Nothing strikes me about it. Exactly. There's nothing striking about it. What does this strike me? What does strike me is your propensity for the inane, however. Ugh, I need to clear my head and come at this again from a different angle. Okay, so there's my reasoning after that. I think I might just start pressing. We're the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. Well, what about the driver? Where does the driver sit? So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck. Absolutely not, Dickon. Let me just make sure no one else is speaking here. No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course, I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. Oh, that's a really good, point animation. I love the way they combine those two. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? No. Dear me, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all? I like how his head is going back and forth as they're talking. It is all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. Let's keep pressing. If anything happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? Well, surely whoever was sitting in front wouldn't have noticed. Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you. We had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now, 'twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold, which is hardly surprising. Seeing things! I like how angry this guy's getting. I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. You. Why, Ayana? Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then it is only fair that you and the other person, the other Finn are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. Is that so? So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before? Oh, lum, no! Not once, never. He'd never met the man before, he said. Never! And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who are inside the cabin. Well, hello. What's going on here? Let's pursue that. Excuse me. Mr. McGilded. Yes, counsel. What can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It has been too long, so it has. Eh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest, you tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off one another? Oh! And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine jet walks through the door. Well, clearly you do not have the perfect fit. The perfect fit, is it? Well, it is a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers, such as a thrice-fired mason. Ah! There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence for, my lord. Oh! Oh, this you mean? Does he have like a little seam on his hat too? Ah, kind of. I can't help thinking that the poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh! That's one of my hats! Aye, that it is. So it seemed that the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer, I wager, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. Why, are you insinuating that he killed him because he complained about the quality of his hat? What? It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here having the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. Oh! He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGill has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. I just got an achievement, Hat Hunter, for having identified the milliner. Hang on. Oh, I didn't want to pause the game like that. Whatever, the achievement's not important right now. Was that not important? What? Skylight was shut the entire... Was none of that important? And did this statement change? I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Let me just keep pressing, I guess. Press this. Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's gonna lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. I did look for myself. There's a freaking latch there. You see, it's shut fast now, just like it was on that night. So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it, still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand? Oh, now you... Hold on there for a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it. What? Did we need to know these details? Excuse me? You farted so hard, you surprised yourself? This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Yeah, you're telling me. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. I'm like, dude, what are you saying? You farted so hard, the smell was so bad, you couldn't get the skylight open. Why are you confessing this? Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as a rogue, I did. A rouge, whatever. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh no, sir, the point is, The skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin. A shame. Well, let's pursue this.
Excuse me.
I don't think the skylight can be opened from the inside. I think it's only from the outside it opens. Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! It opens. The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? Oh man, she's gonna shoot someone. All them skylights open. Dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out my ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't up off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Bailiff! Climb up on the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. I could see it when I examined it. Ah, that's so infuriating. Ah! Oh, my hat! See? I'm so upset about that. Like, I presented that because I noticed that, you know, and that didn't count. Order! 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 So it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens, and from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo, this could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Alright guys, so yeah, I'm looking at the time here. I think I'm gonna call the episode here. Next time we'll see how the skylight opening from the roof deck, you know, it ties into the testimony here. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day, guys. Bye!